Hi, my name is Tibor Major. I am the project manager of MobileNAV implementation team here at Multisoft, and I would like to talk about our upcoming improvements in the next release, which is going to be 4.4. We plan to publish 4.4 around mid of May, and it's going to be a smaller release. The main improvement of the release is the ability of executing custom JavaScript as offline business logic. Besides this huge feature, we will implement 3 smaller ones. Temporary offline keys, which will allow you to create records with a temporary key, preserve filter preferences, and notification sounds. All of these has been requested by partners. In this video, I would like to demonstrate the JavaScript execution in offline mode. Let's see the offline mode with previous MobileNAV versions. MobileNAV supports offline mode. You can download and modify data. You can synchronize it back, etc. In the configuration, you could create offline operations. These offline operations allowed you to mimic the online business logic in some extent. It was enough for simple scenarios. The problems were: the available offline operation types was limited. Validation was not possible, and it was quite hard to debug it. So it was not so easy, and it's not enough in some cases. Let's see our new concept from version 4.4. The MobileNAV add-on will allow you to generate a JavaScript template file for offline pages, which will contain the actual offline page and its boundary pages. These offline pages will be generated as JavaScript classes, which will allow you to write your custom logic in object-oriented way. After generating the template, you can use any JavaScript editor for editing it. I personally prefer Visual Studio 2013 because it allows you to use syntax highlighting and IntelliSense based on the generated classes. You can define your custom offline business logic in onValidate or onPress triggers similar to the CL code. The final step is that you import the edited JavaScript template, and MobileNAV will take the rest. On the next login, the client will download the JavaScript files you have imported, and the client will invoke the JavaScript with the proper record and its boundary object when necessary. Finally, it will process the modifications what you have done in the JavaScript code. Here are some advantages of this new concept. You can use Visual Studio or any other editor for JavaScript editing. You can write object-oriented code. The generated class contains getters and setters for the fields, which use the proper type of the field, like text, numeric, date, etc. You can modify any object in the JavaScript code, not just the current record, which triggered the JavaScript execution. You can create new records. You can delete records from code. You can utilize the object-oriented classes for navigating from the sales orders number field to its referenced item record, and you can simply access the item's description in that way. Now you can utilize the field control feature of MobileNAV in offline as well, since you can control the user interface from JavaScript just like you could do it from CL before. You can throw localized exceptions, so you can write your custom validation logic for fields. You can debug the JavaScript in any tool which is able to debug JavaScript. Whenever a JavaScript error occurs, you will be able to extract the generated JavaScript, and you can use, for example, Internet Explorer or Mozilla Firebug to debug what was wrong. As a result, you can write any kind of custom logic. The possibilities will be unlimited. But this video would be too boring without seeing the feature in action, so I would like to show you 5 different examples. First is how you can generate the JavaScript template from MobileNAV for sales order offline or sales order line offline. After that, I will open the generated JavaScript in Visual Studio 2013 and I will show you how it looked like. After that, I will show you 3 different examples. A simple validation example for line discount, a sales line record creation based on the scanned barcode, and a field control example where we will open up the quantity field for editing right after you have selected an item. Now let's start with the first example, generating the JavaScript template. I will switch to a 2009 Classic client, which is my 4.4 development environment. I go to the MobileNAV department and I choose the configuration, as usual. Here, as you can see, I already have the sales order offline selected in the MobileNAV configuration. For generating the JavaScript template, all I need to do is just to go to the page button below, and as you can see, there is a new menu item, offline JavaScript. I have 4 options there: generate, import, export and delete. Let's choose the generate for now. This will open a file save dialog, so I can decide where to save this file. Okay, I would like to save it in my documents folder, and I press the save button. It was that easy. Now let's open the generated JavaScript template in Visual Studio 2013. I open Documents and I simply choose the sales order offline generated JavaScript. As you can see, Visual Studio will provide syntax highlighting, so I can read the code very easily. Please also note that not only I can find the sales order offline class, but I can also find, for example, the payment method list or the customer offline, etc. Because these offline pages are all the boundaries of the sales order offline page. Now let's go to the end of this document, because here you can find the empty onValidate or onPress triggers what you can define in the JavaScript template. Let's choose the onValidate sell to customer number on the beginning, because this trigger will be invoked when you select a customer into the sell to customer number. Now type this. As you can see, the intoduces will help me what are the available getters and setters in the object. So let's search for get sell to customer number. Since this is a lookup, the sell to customer number will point to a customer offline record. So I can also go forward and access its getters and setters of that object. So I can access, for example, the get address or get city, etc. very conveniently. Now I would like to show you our new configuration for the 4.4 on the sales order offline and on the sales order line offline. We go to the end and I will show you the full code for the validate sell to customer number. Here you go. So basically what this code does is that it simply gets the sell to customer number as an object and it checks whether it is null or not. If it's null, then it basically clears the customer name, the city address, etc. And if it's not null, then it invokes the set sell to customer name and uses the sell to customer numbers customer record and get its name from there and copies that into the sell to customer name with the setter, and so on for the city, address, customer number, build customer number, etc. So this is very simple, and as you can see, it's more or less similar to what you already created in the CLI programming logic. I would like to also show you how does it work in the MobileNAV client application. So I switch to my Windows 8 application. I'm already logged in as offline mode and I can go to the sales orders. Here I can create a sales order. I can select the sell to customer number, like the Canon group, and the name, city address, etc. will be filled for me. And basically this is now executed from the JavaScript code what we have defined. I can go down to the lines, I can create line, I can select, for example, attain desk. The unit price is calculated for me. If I enter the quantity, then the line amount will be updated. Okay, that is fine so far. Now let's write a very simple validation logic for the sales order line. At the moment, I can go into the line discount percentage and I can also specify, for example, 200. as a line discount, which is normally should not be allowed. For this, let's go back to the Visual Studio and open up the sales order line offline JavaScript. Now let's go to the end and let's search for the line discount percentage validate method. There you go. At the moment it only calculates the line amount from the updated value. So let's go and type the following. If this dot get line discount percentage is lower than 0, or this dot get line discount percentage is bigger than 100, then throw exception, and what should be the message? The line discount should be between 0 and 100. Okay, save the JavaScript template file, and all I need to do is just to go back to the classic, go and find the sales order line offline configuration, and use the page offline JavaScript and import. Okay, there you go, sales order line offline. This is what we have just saved. I import it and I go to the MobileNAV application. I just revert the changes for now, for simplicity, and I will choose the yes for refreshing the offline data. This will download the new configuration from the server, hopefully, and it will download the new JavaScript template what we have defined for the sales order line offline. It's downloading the offline data as well as usual. Okay, it's ready. So I can go to the sales orders, create a new sales order, select the Canon group for example, go down to the lines, create a new line, select attain desk, and select quantity 1 and try to type 200 as before. And there you go. The line discount should be between 0 and 100. Great. I would like to also show you how you can debug the offline JavaScript execution. Whenever an exception will occur in the JavaScript execution, then the client application will allow you to extract and encapsulate the JavaScript file in a very simple HTML test file. If I press the debug button here, then the client will do that, and as you can see in this very simple HTML file, I can see the error message in the window. But what is more to that, I can press the F12, which will launch my Firebug inside my Mozilla browser, and here I can see the generated JavaScript. I can go to the end and check out the do-work method. In the do-work method, what I can see that the client application has instantiated, for example, the sales order line offline, which is a rec variable, but all these object boundaries like the parent, sales order offline, or the customer offline, or the item offline, what is related to this sales order line, has been generated in this JavaScript. And all the properties of these objects has been initiated by the client application. And at the end of this generated script, I can also see the main thing. The client has invoked the set line discount percent with 200 because that was the value what we wanted to set. And after that, it invoked the validate line discount percent for actually running our validation trigger. If I place a breakpoint here, then I can use the refresh button again to let the browser run this HTML file again. And as you can see, the Firebug has stopped at that line. Here I can use the F11 to step into this trigger, and here we can see the code what we have just entered. Here I can very simply create certain parts of the code, and I can use, for example, the add watch, which basically will add a new watch variable into the Firebug. And here I can see that the line discount percent value was 200, and that is why the exception occurred. So if I use F10, then I can see that it is throwing now an exception. So if I let it run, then the exception will occur in the end. So in this way you can very easily debug any kind of error message what the offline JavaScript would throw in your client application. Now let's create a new record from the JavaScript code. I have already created a barcode field in the configuration on the sales order offline. So if I go back and choose the sales order offline, there you can see this barcode field as a preparation. Here I have specified a mobile type for barcode, so later on we can also scan barcodes into this field. Because what we would like to do, if I scan in a barcode, I would like to use it as an item number, and I would like to create a record, a sales order line record, immediately with the scanned barcode as an item number. So let's go to the Visual Studio back again and choose the sales order offline JavaScript. Here you need to find the onValidate of the barcode field. There you go. So just simply type this dot create lines. Since the lines is a drill down into the sales order lines, I can also create new records in there. It has two parameters, insert and validate. If I choose insert true, then it will be immediately inserted. If I choose insert false, then I can use delayed insert, just like in a NAV. I would use true for the insert and true for the validate as well. This will return a new variable, so I would just like to store it in the new line variable. In the next line, I would like to also fill out some default data. So let's type new line dot, and again, because of the object-oriented JavaScript classes, I can use the sales order line offline methods like set type. I would like to set the type to item. So for that we have also created constants. So I can type mn order of sales order offline line offline dot, and I can go down type item, and I would like to also validate that. New line dot set no, because we would like to also set the no value. And what should be the value? The value of the no should be the scanned barcode. So this dot get barcode with validate, of course. And the last is to set the quantity to 1 and validate true. So as you can see, it's a very simple 4 lines of code. On the first line we create a new line, the second we set the line type to item, then we set the number to the scanned barcode, and finally we also set the quantity to 1. Now let's save this JavaScript and go back to the classic and import the JavaScript to the configuration. Okay. Again, I go to the synchronization, revert all changes, and I refresh the configuration. Okay, as the configuration has been downloaded, I can go to the sales orders create a new sales order, select the customer again, the Canon group, and on the bottom you can see this new field barcode with a barcode icon near to that, which indicates that I would be able to scan a barcode into this field. I would not try to scan a barcode now, but I would like to just enter a barcode manually. So let's choose 1000, which stands for bicycle. Okay, ready? And I would like to also scan another one. Let's choose 1001. If I now go down to the lines, then I can see two lines. The first one with bicycle, the second one with touring bicycle, and as you can see the quantity is 1 pieces and the line amount and all the rest like the unit price, etc. has been calculated. Very good. In our last example, I will demonstrate the field control in offline. We will use the generated field control methods for automatically open the quantity for editing right after you select an item. For this, I need to go back to the Visual Studio, of course, and I need to choose the sales order line offline template. So let's quickly find the onValidate.no, because that is invoked if I choose a new item. Go to the end and just simply type this field control, and here you can see all the field control related pre-generated methods like field control edit, hide, next, read only, etc. First, I would like to reset the field control to make it empty, and in the next line I would like to use the field control edit with quantity. This will rule the client to open up the quantity right after you selected a new item. And let's go down to the onValidate quantity, because right after entering the quantity I would like to clear or reset the field control again. Okay, let's save the template, go back to the classic, go back to the sales order line offline, JavaScript import, and let's import the sales order line offline. Okay, I need to do a synchronization, of course. Okay, after the synchronization has been done, I can go back to the sales orders, create a new sales order for the Canon group, can go down to the lines, I can create a new line, and let's choose an item like attain desk, and now the quantity is automatically popped up for editing, so I can choose 2 and enter, and that was it. And this was possible because we are able to use the field control for showing or hiding fields, or automatically opening up fields for editing with the field control feature. I hope you enjoyed the video. Goodbye.